All right, so today we're going to be doing percentages of a budget. And it's the way we do it is actually by setting up a proportion. So it's really nothing different from what we did last week. So Jonas is a college student. He wants to make sure he has enough income to cover his expenses. He made the following list: rent, food, tuition, entertainment, clothing, phone, internet savings, phone/internet/savings. Jonas has gathered information to help him make a budget. His monthly net income is $1,800. Rent and utilities make up 23% of his monthly expenses. Jonas puts 12% of his monthly income into savings, and the cost of phone internet plans $50 per month. And Jonas pays $600 towards his tuition each month. And so we can usually use proportions, just find out what all this costs. And we'll do that a little bit later. But first, we're going to think about it a little bit more. Below is Jonas's budget. So his rent was 23% of his income. So you change 23% to decimal and times it by his income. You do the same thing for the savings. Food, clothing, entertainment have no money amounts assigned to them. Jonas needs to know the amount of money he has left to determine how much he can spend on these categories. So a fixed expense is something that you have to pay. You have to pay rent. You have to pay your tuition. And I guess he's also going to have to put money into savings. And what it means by fixed is that you're doing the exact same amount every month. So rent will always be the same, tuition will always be the same, and the amount he puts in the savings will always be the same. Plus the phone and internet, because it's a contract. It doesn't change. Well, now there's a variable expenses. Variable expenses are food, entertainment, clothing, meaning that you change the amount that you spend on them each month. You don't spend the same amount on food. You don't spend the same amount on entertainment. Sometimes you want to go to the movies. Sometimes you want to go play Topgolf. I don't know, but those are different expenses. So that's the reason why it's called variable. And that we'll get more into that. But let's think about critical thinking real quick. How did Jonas use his budget to help him make reasonable decisions? And the way he did that is he recognized that he was spending too much money on variable expense that were causing him to spend more than his income allowed. He used the budget to reduce the amount he spent in these categories and was able to include an emergency category. Emergency categories, it's like a savings account, but it's used for when you have an emergency, like if you break your arm, your car's broke down, things like that. Okay, so we're going to look at another person called Lydia and has a monthly net income of $3,000. The table below shows her average monthly expenses. So what we're going to do is we're going to record her expenses under the correct category. So food, groceries, restaurants, utilities, electricity and water, housing payment, savings would be savings and emergency fund, transportation would be car payment, car insurance, gas and car maintenance, and other would be cell phone and internet service. So make sure you have this written down on your paper. So what I did is I added them up so I can have the total. So number 3 says insurance and payments on loans are considered fixed. Which of Lydia's expenses would be considered fixed? So her fixed income would be house, internet, savings, car insurance, car payments, cell phone, and emergency fund, meaning that she's going to put the same amount in there every month. So it means her variable expense is electricity, water, groceries, restaurants, and gas. And now the reason why electricity and water are not fixed as variable is because you don't use the same amount every month. Sometimes you have to have the AC on during the summer. Maybe you don't need to have it on at all. Water, you could have guests come in, use more water than you normally use, things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to refer to the table to find the percentage for each category in Lydia's budget and round to the nearest whole percent. So I can't remember which one we're going to do first. Yeah, we're going to do food together. So we're going to find the percentage of she uses for food. I'm going to set up a proportion. So I know $400 goes to food out of $3,000. Since I'm trying to find a percentage, I'm going to set it equal to X over 100. So you do x times 3,000, which is 3,000 x, and 400 times 100, which is 40,000. You divide 3,000 to both sides. This cancels out. Remember, when your zeros line up, they cancel out. So I'm going to cancel out 3 zeros. So now all I'm doing is dividing 3 and a 40. And that's just going to continue on. So I get x is equal to 13.3%. But I have to round to the nearest whole. So the nearest whole would just be 13. So this would be 13%. All right, number 2, I want you to find the percentage for utilities. So utilities would be 170 over 3,000 is equal to x over 100. So you cross multiply. Divide. So these cancel out. So you just divide 3 into 17, which would be, imagine 6, yep. So it would be about 6%. Probably you round it up from 5. All right, this next one. Let's do housing. If I can go back. There, housing. So you do 950 over 3,000 is equal to x over 100. So you cross multiply, you get 3,000x. You get 95,000. So you divide by 3,000. And again, zeros can be canceled out. So all you're doing is dividing 3 and 95. So my first number is going to be a 3. So I know it's A. Sorry, guys, that's my phone. So it'll be about 32%. Okay, let's do savings. Oh, why does it keep doing that? So the last one was 900. Savings is 950, if I can get it up on the screen. Sorry, guys. So savings, housing was 950, savings is 900. So if the percentage for housing was 32%, savings should be around that as well. So it can't be more. So I should already assume it's going to be 30%. But let's prove it. So you have 900 over 3,000 is equal to x over 1,000. So you get 3,000x is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm not sure why I put over 1,000. Sorry. That should be 100. And that should be 90,000. So you divide by 3. Zeros cancel out. 3 goes into 90. 30 exactly times. So it'll be 30%. Okay, transportation. Transportation would be 450 over 3,000 is equal to x over 100. So you have 3,000x is equal to 45,000. Cancel out. 3 goes into 45 15 times. Okay, last one, other. So you have 130 over 3,000 is equal to x over 100. So you get 3,000x is equal to 13,000. Cross off the zeros. 3 goes into 13 about 4% of the time. Good. And that's all you do. So we're not really going to answer those questions, but Lydia did not include clothing in her expense list. Under which category should she place this expense? So clothing should be put under other. Okay, and that's your homework. But one thing I want to cover up, it says that, let's give you a number of her total income was $1,300. Her food is 23% of the income. So what you do is you would put X over the total, and you set it equal to the percentage over 100%, and you just solve it from there. Okay. Again, there's really nothing different about it. Just take some time to solve it. All right. Thank you, guys.